So this is, I'm going to give highlights of the discussion that happened with the free radical group in the back.
Okay.
All right, and just highlights not everything everybody said. I want you to know first of all that it's all about power. Okay, so with respect to the Integrated Oceans Advisory Committee, as we've heard in other communities, the key thing is that there's effective representation of local communities at that committee. And so we didn't get really, we just focused on that and made sure that it was really clear. So the idea is that there needs to be, well, for lack of a better term, a working group in this area that enables the local communities, not just Bella Bella and Shearwater, but also Clem2 and Ocean Falls, to come together to talk about all the issues together. And then one or two reps would go to that broader advisory committee, and using the internet, possibly at the school, if that's possible. It's your job. Somebody's got the responsibility to say yes. That people could actually watch. So those of you in the community that are interested in observing that meeting could observe it while your reps are in it, wherever that meeting might be. One day might be here. Monday it might be in Port Hardy, Prince Rupert, whatever. So with respect to the actual mandate or responsibilities of the Integrated Oceans Advisory Committee, the only thing that really came up to be added was providing advice on how local communities should be compensated for suffering the impact of the developments that do occur. That isn't on the list right now. It could be added. In terms of adjusting the proposed participation, I already said about ensuring effective local representation. There needs to be balance. And it's just kind of the concept, it's how you make it work. You focus it on achieving a balanced outcome, and also you ensure the representation is balanced. Forestry interests are missing and should be added. A lot of advice on how to make the process more effective. And this isn't just making the IOAC more effective, but also the whole thing. And there's a lot of emphasis here on what's going to happen afterwards. Recognizing that at least one of our participants wanted to make sure this is going to be a living document, not set in stone, but something that's going to continue to live. But it won't live and it won't be effective if there isn't local oversight and monitoring of it on an ongoing basis. And the more local control, the better. But recognizing that maybe there won't be absolute local control, local oversight and monitoring, so that you can see how things are unfolding. Fairly obvious, but must be said, that in order to participate, there's got to be resources to support that participation. Both resources to support the meetings and discussions here, as well as to support the representatives participating in the IOAC. Using local knowledge and science, there's a suggestion that, in fact, maybe there should be a working group on science and information that might bring together local knowledge and scientific knowledge on some of the questions that are fairly complex. We talked about oil and gas a lot, because a lot of people are concerned about it, and didn't really reach a final conclusion on what needs to happen specifically, but there needs to be a focused discussion on oil and gas. Maybe what needs to happen, first of all, is like a workshop that brings together experts, and brings together all the players, the companies, with local communities, to just find out what actually is going on, what are some of the issues, and then from there, maybe a working group could be struck that deals with a specific task. And some of the people in the working group are thinking it's inevitable. The guidelines the guidance have to be ensured that it's going to be sustainable, and local people got to be involved in making those guidelines. Other people just wanted a moratorium to come out the other end. So we're not making that decision right now, but a focused discussion on oil and gas is a necessary thing. In terms of existing process, the Integrated Harvest Planning Committee is an obvious one that needs to be plugged into PNCIMA. The Chamber of Commerce in Port Hardy might be another that convenes thinking around one of the most significant issues, which was brought up several times, and that is, if you think about, you look at the area, you say, well, there's no young people looking forward to careers and futures in fishing. That's not what they're doing. And why is that? So there needs to be something, whether it's a working group or something on increasing the local benefits and the local economy associated with the ocean and the marine environment. Because right now it's not going in that direction. That needs to change. Okay. And then with respect to the internet, definitely the internet could be used more effectively. Access is a real issue here. Certain places have reasonably good access to school being one of them, and maybe there could be something worked out with the school that would enable people to have meetings in the evening or something at the school, use the internet as a way that groups of you can participate and communicate with other working groups at a local level, or perhaps when the advisory committee is meeting, you can use the internet at the school to observe that. What have I missed as a highlight from any of your perspectives? We're in that group. Didn't sound too bad. Okay, well, we'll call that a name.
It wasn't radical enough.
It wasn't radical enough. Damn it! We need action!
We forgot the local radio station.
I forgot the local radio station. You didn't film that, did you? Yeah.
This is our independent facilitator.
Right. Okay. Got it. Okay, next group.
Okay. So we had a lot of stuff. I'll try my best to capture it and then invite my group here to chime in with things I miss. So in terms of the role of the Integrated Oceans Advisory Committee, one of the things that we wanted to, that this group suggested clarifying was its role in helping to identify appropriate timelines for doing different things. Now, in terms of participation and the need for sort of balance and effective membership,
maybe Neil, you can come over here.
Yeah, maybe I'll stand. There was a feeling there's lots of small voices in many small communities, so how do you bring those small voices to a large process in a way that they're heard? So there was some suggestion that maybe you create opportunities for communities to talk to one another and synthesize their perspectives and their views that they could bring to a larger process. So I put my own word to this, but I call it something like a subcommittee, or it could be a working group, I suppose. There was the recommendation also that forestry needs to be included, given its effects and relationships to the coastal environment. There should be participation from people in these places, so not only from outside of PNCIMA, even if those people from outside make their livelihoods here, you also need to have people who live in these areas being a part of this committee. And the need to say that in a different way, balance between sort of bigger interests and these sort of more locally based interests and communities. There was also the suggestion that at the community level that there be the opportunity for First Nations communities and non-First Nations communities to be collaborating at that local level as well. So things related to making that committee effective. Communications was a big thing. So, for example, this meeting, people would have appreciated